So we got an email from the CEO of Expensify, which is a company that handles expense reimbursements. And this has been all over the news, so I'm sure people know about it. But he was basically saying to all his clients, everyone who is part of his or who subscribes to his product, you have to vote for Biden. Our democracy is at stake. And I think it's crazy and sort of unprecedented to have a private company just like tell everybody how to vote straight up. And I think it made a lot of people angry. It made me angry because I don't go to this company for advice on how to vote. I go to them for expense reimbursement, you know?
It was wild that he, I don't know, somehow was sitting there on his couch watching whatever on the news, scrolling social media. He's like, I'm going to blast all my customers, which is kind of an ethics violation, but I don't know how he connected the dots and was like justified.
Yeah, I think he just thought everybody would agree with him and be like, yeah, we're all for Biden. We're going to go out and vote. But, you know, clearly not everyone agrees with him. There's half the country that he reckoned without.
I haven't read too many of like the obviously I see all the fallouts of people like I'm not using it and stuff, but is there a board that's going to hold him accountable, or does he?
I don't know. I doubt it. Hopefully a lot of people will cancel the service because it's not even about like, oh, I don't like Biden. It's about don't tell your customers how to vote. Like they talk about election interference and like Russia's trying to tell people how to vote. Well, it's election interference for him to tell people how to vote too, if you consider that. I mean, I don't really think it's interference to tell people how to vote. I think it's interference to actually go and interfere with the ballot counting and things like that. But it is pretty shady to do that it's not your role to tell people how to vote. Your role is to just be a CEO and run your company and look out for your shareholders. And this is not going to help his shareholders, that's for sure.
No, he did not have his shareholders in mind when he made that decision. No. The people he's accountable to. And his customers, he's accountable to them. And then he puts them on blast. Kind of forgot there's the old Michael Jordan adage, people used to say, why don't you speak up on politics? And the famous quote, Republicans buy shoes too.
Good point.
He wasn't interested in being a social justice warrior. He wanted to be an ambassador for his brand and be that smiling face everyone knew and loved. That's Michael Jordan. So maybe we should go and take a little bit a page out of Michael Jordan's book.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the thin end of the wedge, right? It's like this is the first one, but it's going to keep happening. Everything has become so politicized. Every celebrity wants to tell you how to vote. Every corporation now wants to tell you how to vote. And it's like no one can separate anything from politics. Everything has to be political now. And I think that's really sad. And the left always says, oh, everything has always been political. Music has always been political. Art has always been political. And to an extent, they have a point because there's certainly a history of people making political points through their art, which is fine, but it's people who also used to have a private life where they would come home from work and they would sit around their table and they would, talk about things that weren't politics. And now it's all politics all the time. And I think it's really dangerous to our, damaging to our mental health, basically. It's really scary that we can't separate out everything else anymore. Like electoral politics is not the be all end all of society, but people act like it is. And, this whole democracy is at stake thing, I don't understand this at all. Like, why do people think in the middle of an election where everybody's voting that we don't have democracy anymore?